guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm gonna resin these coasters, so I wanted to show you the process. So these are ones that I made previously, and I coated them with a spray, but I don't really like the finish, and I want these to be heat resistant. So I have liquid stone epoxy from KS Resin, and it has a heat resistance, I believe, up to 465. So when you stick your hot coffee cups or hot tea cups on here, it's not gonna stick and pull your coaster up off the table like it usually happens with like the polyacrylic and like the spray varnishes. So that's what we're gonna be doing today. I taped the backs off because the resin's gonna drip and you don't want it to drip on the bottom of your coasters and stick. It's just a little more work. I mean, if you have to, you can, and then you're gonna have to sand off the little drips. So it's just easier to tape it off, and then just take your scissors and cut the tape off that's overlapping. Really super simple and easy. You can use an X-Acto knife for this too if you want. I just find it's kind of easier to use scissors. So, hopefully everybody's having a great day and had a good Labor Day weekend. We actually had a little barbecue last night, and my husband's uncle passed away, so they're at his funeral today. So prayers for them. Okay, so we're done with that. Now we are gonna mix our resin. I cleaned these off. I took a baby wipe and wiped them off, and then I took a paper towel and just made sure they're dust free. I think I put alcohol on one of them and it made it sticky, so I don't know if that was the varnish or what, so maybe not put alcohol on it. All right, so let's get our gloves on. You want to wear gloves because resin is sticky. Sticky, sticky, sticky. I'm gonna make extra resin because I have a couple sets of coasters that I need to get done today. So I will be working on that. And I'm guessing that's 1.5. That's 2.5. And that's probably 3.5. I have these little cups that I got off of Amazon, and they have the ounces and all that stuff on it. And you need 1 ounce to do 4 of these coasters. So that's 1/2 ounce of the resin and 1/2 ounce of the hardener. So I'm trying to figure out how much I'm gonna need because I'm doing my mother-in-law's coasters that she wanted, and she got 6 of them instead of 4, so I'm having to add some to it. So I'm trying to do the math really quick in my head. So 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna need like 3.5. So you can mix these in 2 separate cups. This one is pretty neat. I just pour the hardener in first, and then the same amount of resin, since they're all little numbered, and then I just mix in there. But this time, I think I am going to, I don't know what I want to do. Actually, I'm just going to do it right here. So, this is what the KS resin looks like. This one is the hardener. Okay, it has a black lid. And what I like to do is I like to pour it and then put the lid right back on because I don't want to mix lids. Let's see. I'm thinking that 50 is 1.5. That will be, is that the half mark? Like, I'm trying to figure out where the half mark is on each one because I need a half. Or maybe I'll just make 4 ounces. I just hate to waste it. You really don't want to waste resin. Okay, so I'm going to pour the hardener in up to 2 ounces because I'm going to make 4 ounces total. And you want to be really precise. You don't want to add more of one or the other. Okay, so that's at 2. It does have a slight smell, but it's not very bad. This is 1:1 mixing ratio, 0 VOC and low odor, added UV inhibitors, high temp resistance, and dry to the touch in 12 hours, fully cured in 3 days. And it does not smell really strong. It's actually not too bad at all. I was surprised. So now I'm going to pour this in up to the 4. Get it exactly right. Okay. Put that back in there. Don't want to waste it at all. I don't know if you're supposed to keep putting this red cap back in or not, but I do. So, and put the cap on right now. Okay. Wipe my hands off. And then you're going to take your stir stick and you're just going to start stirring. You want to stir slow. And you have to stir this for 2 to 3 minutes. I'm trying to see what time it is, because I should set my timer. It's exactly 12 o'clock. So feel free to fast forward through me stirring this up if you want. You don't want to watch this. But I'm going to kind of show you guys. See how it's kind of cloudy? So you want to make sure you scrape the sides, in case just like hardener got on the side or just the resin. And then you're going to swipe your stick and then just keep mixing. And you want to kind of mix slow so that you're not creating bubbles. But there's going to be bubbles. That's just inevitable. But if you stir kind of slow, keep scraping the sides, scrape the bottom, wipe your stick off, and keep stirring. So I did 2 sets last night for the very first time I've ever used resin, and they turned out really good. You also want to make sure that you have a dust-free environment for them to dry. I just put a plastic sheeting on the ground and covered them with a couple of boxes flipped upside down. That's what I used to keep the dust off of them. And they were dry enough to the touch this morning that I took the tape off of them, off the back, before it got too hard. And I'm going to let them finish curing for a couple days. This is really difficult if you have like arthritis or carpal tunnel. It really hurts your hands to stir this stuff. So you can wear a respirator mask or just like a mask when you do this if you don't like the smell. But definitely when you're sanding resin, you want to wear a mask. You don't want to be breathing in those particles. And when you heat it up, if you use a torch, you definitely want to be wearing a mask because you don't want to breathe in those fumes. Even though this is food grade safe, low VOC, all that stuff, you still just want to be cautious and make sure you are taking care of yourself. So keep stirring. If you guys can see, you can see there's like little air bubbles and stuff, but that's gonna come out when we hit it with the heat gun. And my husband bought me this heat gun. Love him, and I totally appreciate that he went and got it for me. But he bought me one that has this cool down feature, so you can't turn it off. When you turn it off, it goes into a cool down stage and it keeps blowing for 80 seconds. So I have to set it on the ground and it's like loud blowing for 80 more seconds after it's done. So, but okay. So I believe this says this counter epoxy. I also have art epoxy, but the counter epoxy says it has a 15-minute working time. And I think it has a little bit more than that. You can also buy pigments to put in your epoxy. You can put glitter in there. All kinds of stuff you can do with epoxy. So I'm just going to give it one more good. I'm going to wipe the stick, wipe the sides really, really good. Scrape the bottom. because I've been stirring for like 3 minutes and ow, my hand's cramping. Okay, so I think we're good. And then I'm just gonna pour a puddle right in the middle on this. And you wanna make sure your tiles are level so that this, because resin is self-leveling, so it will level itself out. Let's pour puddle there. So, and if something happens and you get dust or something, you miss a spot, and you don't catch it in time, you can go back and sand this first coat, and then you can do another coat of resin. But you just want to pull it to the edges. You want to make sure that you're paying attention to your edges and your corners really good, because those will get little flat spots if you don't get it all the way up there. Like so. And it's going to drip over the side. It'll self-level itself out too. Okay. Do the next one. And you could just use your stick. You can use your fingers if you want. You can use, I believe they have like a little trowel you can use. But since I already have my stick, might as well use it. And you're gonna see some bubbles, and that's okay, because with the heat gun's gonna get all the bubbles out. Or a torch. I like using a heat gun. Like, see, this one is not level. It was rolling off one way. Okay, and you just mix it out like that. Make sure your corners, your edges, and then what drips over, you're gonna wipe along your sides. You can do it with your popsicle stick right now too, but it's gonna flow over anyways when you heat it with the heat gun. So I usually just use that to get the sides instead of actually putting a lot on here, because it's just gonna melt off when I hit it with the heat gun. But you can do a little bit. Like so. And almost done. So it doesn't take very long to do this part. You just definitely want to make sure you watch and see that nothing falls in it while you're doing it, because it will be stuck in there. A fly, a hair, dust, fuzzies, anything and everything. So my painting, if you guys seen my last video of my purple painting, it is drying beautifully. And I'll show you guys in a minute. Uh-oh, I just got my arm in that one. I keep telling myself to stop laying them out this way, because I keep bumping one or the other. So, okay, just gonna look at my corners, and definitely, look in the light in different angles just to kind of make sure everything's good. Okay, we're gonna do our heat gun. I have it on low, and I wiped off all the numbers of the heat, but we're just gonna go like this. And this warms up the resin and starts moving it a little bit and pops all the bubbles. You don't want to get too close because you can burn your resin. You just want to get it warmed up and fluid so it spreads, and you want to get all the bubbles popped. Just like that. I'm melting the saran wrap under me. Okay. Just want to make sure I get all the bubbles out. And if you kind of get a little closer, you can move the resin around. So like in this corner over here, I saw an empty spot. So you can kind of just push it like that and it'll move the resin where you want it to go. Okay, now, of course it's loud on the cool down phase. So I'm gonna unplug it so you guys don't have to hear it. But it has a little cool down phase. So now what I do is I just take my finger and I just go around and smooth this out. Be careful because the resin will be a little warm. Not too warm, but it can get pretty warm. You can pick it up off your plastic if you don't have enough. The little drips. And you're just gonna go like so. You can go underneath and get the drips off.